You're watching Pulse for the 29th of September, and it's time for some World of Warcraft news. In this week's episode, patch 4.3. Yes, that's pretty much it. A ton of patch 4.3 PTR news and updates, along with a bunch of previews and more. There's a few other pieces of news too, sure, but they're not nearly as important or as interesting. So let's get to it. As I just mentioned, World of Warcraft's next big content patch, patch 4.3, is in fact live on the public test realms right now. Slowly but surely Blizzard are getting all the content up on the public test realm and available for testing. To sum it up, so far transmogrification and void storage are available for testing. The new and final raid for Cataclysm, Dragon Soul, is not live yet, and only one of the 3 new 5-man dungeons coming up is in fact open, and that would be End Time. You can, as usual, check the patch notes below to see a couple of the class changes that have been made. Death Knights, Druids, Paladins, Priests, Shamans and Warlocks have already received a bit of work, and the other classes changes are apparently coming soon. I'm not going to cover all these patch notes in depthly here, but you can see them below as I just mentioned. What I will instead have a look at is all the content that's been previewed so far by both Blizzard and other websites. Before that though, tying in with the balance changes, check out the first part of the explanation of 4.3 balance changes by Ghostcrawler. Then, we've got the patch 4.3 raid preview for Dragon Soul, and that is indeed looking pretty good. Blizzard tell us that you can do this raid on 10 and 25 man, there are 6 different bosses to fight, and there are 2 different encounters with Deathwing himself. One of said encounters will be in a zone called the Spine of the Destroyer, and I'm gonna go ahead and assume that we're actually gonna be fighting on his back for that. Anyway, check the preview out for Dragon Soul over at the official site, it is pretty interesting. Then you can also see 3 patch 4.3 dungeon previews on the official site. Part 1 is for End Time, Part 2 Well of Eternity, and Part 3 The Hour of Twilight. There are some really cool screenshots to have a look at, and well, Blizzard do give us a pretty in-depth explanation for every single one. The bosses we fight, the loot we're going to be picking up, and everything else. Then the final official preview, The Fangs of Father. This got the most people excited, more so the rogues than the other classes, mostly because these are the 2 new legendary daggers we're going to be fighting it out for in Dragon Soul. Now apparently rogues who progress along the legendary questline to get these daggers will grow in power very quickly. The powers include stacking increases to agility which build until dark wings unfurl from the rogue's back, removing the combo point costs and increasing damage of finishing moves for a short period of time. And for those who like to show off, apparently you can spread these wings on command as well. They'll give you a slow fall effect for a short period of time, and they'll just look damn cool. So check the official previews out below and let me know what you think. Do you like these new legendaries? Do you think they're going to be cooler than the staff we saw in patch 4.2? I kinda like the look of them, but I think those wings are going to be making the Warlocks jealous. Lastly, over on the official side, you can see a Deathwing raid interview with Scott Mercer. He pretty much just talks about the Dragon Soul raid, our encounter with Deathwing, and everything else. Seeing that this patch is in fact live on the PTR now, all the big websites have had a chance to data mine absolutely everything from it. Over at MMO Champion and Wowhead, you can have a look at all the new spell changes coming up, some new items, maps, 3D models, load-in screens, the new profession or craftable loot, gems, some changes to the holiday events that are coming up, some new spectral mounts that we might well have access to, and more. I urge you all to check the links below to see everything that I've spoken about thus far, and if you're feeling brave, you could hop onto the PTR yourself to give it all a try. Next up, sticking with the official, we've got some more tier 13 previews and visual retrospectives. First up, the new Paladin set, and it's titled Battle Plate of Radiant Glory. In my opinion, it looks really cool, and I absolutely love the shoulder pads and helmet. Then we have the Rogue set, Black Fang Battle Weave, and this, honestly, I think looks a lot like some of the previous sets we've seen. The helmet looks cool once again, but the shoulder pads and the rest of the armor's texture work looks pretty familiar. Then lastly, we've got the Priest tier 13, the Vestments of Dying Light. This one's actually pretty scary looking with the 3 faces on the armor, and funny enough both the Priest and Paladin sets have some sort of Egyptian theme going, and I'm not sure how that fits in with Dragon Soul, but hey, I won't complain, they both look really cool. So you can check those out on the official site or in the links below, and along with that, there's a preview of the tier 13 set bonuses that you can have a look at too. Sure, this might not be as interesting to look at, but those of you that are actually raiding and plan on doing the Dragon Soul would probably be interested in this. Then as a few extras, the guys over at Wowhead and MMO Champion have discovered the patch 4.3 dungeon sets and season 11 PvP sets too. Now we have something a little bit different. This is from a user named Hash22 on YouTube, and it's called Mine of WorldCraft. This is pretty much the login screen, character creation, load-in screens, and starting areas of World of Warcraft made in Minecraft. So if you were wondering what it would look like if World of Warcraft was actually in the Minecraft engine, then this is for you. You can do a couple of quests in the starting area, see how your favorite paladin sets would look in Minecraft, and more. It's incredibly well made. And if you have some time, check out the rest of this guy's videos, because he's done a lot of parodies of other games as well. Team Fortress, Metal Gear Solid, and a couple of others. Really cool channel and definitely worth checking out. With that done, let's head on over to the World of Warcraft Smalls. First up in the Smalls, over at the official site, you can see a couple of art gallery updates. You can check out the most recent Corehound Pup screenshot contest winners. And Foo Fighters are set to rock BlizzCon 2011. The reason I didn't do a big news piece on this is, well, there isn't actually much to say about it. The Foo Fighters are amazing, and I think they were the natural choice after Tenacious D's amazing show last year. The Brazilian Portuguese version of World of Warcraft is coming to Europe soon. Blizzard is recruiting Portuguese speakers. Raise your mug, it's Brewfest. And tying in with that, there's a Brewfest guide over at Wowhead that you can check out. World of Warcraft is now 2 million strong on Facebook, and it feels like just yesterday that they were 1 million strong. There's a new wallpaper up for that as well. And lastly, you can check out the latest piece in the Leaders of the Horde Alliance series. This one's on Sylvanas Windrunner. Sadly, that's all I have for you in the World of Warcraft news this week. You can check the links below for even more news and information, and yes, that does sound unlikely, but there is actually more. Check back here soon for more. Remember to like the video, favorite it, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Most importantly though, happy patch 4.3 on the PTR.